So hi, I'm Kevin Dundon and I'm here today to show you how to do a fantastic dinner party for 6. It's really, really simple, and the most important thing is to relax and enjoy what you're going to do. Now, you know when you go to a dinner party and everybody's like coming into the house and they kind of just ramble around and you're trying to get them to the dinner table and you're worried about your dinner? Great tip for you is if you make a really simple soup and serve it in a little coffee cup like so. So you get everybody to sit down, you pour out your soup, like so. Place that down. Now you're in control. So what you need to do then is you go back into the kitchen and then you start cooking your appetizer. And the appetizer today is a beautiful scallop dish. Very simple to do. Don't be afraid of scallops. They're really, really rich, beautiful, indulgent food. What you need for this particular recipe is you need some leeks, carrots, scallops, brandy, sweet potatoes, salt, double cream, butter, some olive oil, and these are microgreens, but you can use mixed herbs for that. Now, when you look at this total menu, it seems quite extravagant. But instead of going out to a restaurant maybe twice a month, you can or once a month, you could actually have a dinner party for 2 or 3 times for the same sort of money. And really, when you're looking at your ingredients, the ingredients is the most important thing. When you look at scallops, and you can actually see when you go into your fishmonger, and these are beautiful fresh scallops that I got from Kilmore Quay, but you can see that lovely glisten off them. There's not a huge amount of water in there. What you notice between a fresh scallop, which is called a dry scallop, versus a frozen scallop. Frozen scallop is when they catch the scallop, then they will actually freeze it, and then they dip it in water, which is called a glaze. And then the glaze actually forms a shell on the outside, which actually protects the scallop when you're cooking it, so it doesn't get freezer burnt. But if you buy a frozen scallop, there's nothing wrong with them. But the best way to thaw them out is in the fridge, straight from the freezer. Put them in the fridge for about 24 hours. If you run them under water, you're actually drawing out all the flavour from that, which is not really a good thing to do. So let's get cracking. Let's get started here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to do a crisp, which is sweet potato. You get a potato peeler, peel your sweet potato. You just want to do ribbons like so. You don't need to be too fussy. Now you can actually do this earlier on in the day, so you don't actually have to do it to order, as we would in a restaurant. And a little bit of vegetable oil. Just check to make sure it's hot enough. It's nicely bubbled there. Just drop those in for probably about 30 seconds or a little bit more, and you'll see them actually start to curl up and get nice and crispy. Okay, and then in your frying pan then to cook your scallops, you want to get the frying pan very, very hot. You get your scallops, and then you put a little bit of olive oil on your scallops, like so, and a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. These guys are crisp already now. Now we're going to use these to garnish the top of our scallop dish. But in fact, you could actually do a combination of different vegetables, like that, cook them in the oil, a little bit of salt directly when it comes out of the oil, because the salt will draw into the food. You can use them as crisps, so you can actually use them as when your guests come in, and you can actually serve them with a bowl of homemade crisps with some cocktails. Okay. You can see there, I've just brushed the scallops with some olive oil. Dry pan, and just like when you move them around, you've got a little bit of oil on your hand. Just drop it in and make sure that you get that nice sizzle coming off there. Okay, that's exactly the noise you want to hear. I'm just going to cook 2 because the portion is only going to take 2 to do. Then in the second pan, put it on to heat. Get your leek. And you know that term that you see in cookbooks called julienne? But basically julienne is like a really thin strip. So you just slice down like so. And you don't need to be too fussy about that, but the thinner you can get it, the better the dish will look at the end. And you get a carrot then. Cut it into Again, nice thin strips. Okay, but basically what you need to remember is that whatever you're going to eat this with a fork, okay? So you don't want the strips to be any longer than the fork because it'd be hard. It'd be like eating spaghetti, which is not necessarily what you want. You can see those scallops there, just cooking up there nicely. You see that you've got that lovely caramelization happening on the outside of the scallops. They're just perfect, okay? You turn them over, so they were over there for about 30 seconds. And you just turn them over, they'll sit there for another 30 seconds and then be just perfect then. In our second pan, we're going to put in a little bit of butter in there. Put in our vegetables. Okay, always when you put your vegetables into the pan initially, always put a little bit of salt and pepper, salt in there. Salt is the flavor enhancer. So if you put a little bit of salt in now, you're going to use far less salt than if you put it in at the end. Okay, when the scallops are just about like so, you can see they're actually still a little bit loose, nice and wobbly. Turn the heat off. Okay, and then put a knob of butter in there, and basically what that's actually doing is going to give you that lovely glaze on the outside of your scallop, okay? Just move this plate into the center here. Lift those guys off. Move this pan to the front. To that, we're going to add a little bit of brandy. Now, when you're doing that at home, you need to move it to the side, okay, because your canopy is just about here. Move it to the side, bring it down low, put in your brandy here, and light it there so you get the flame, you get the height up there. Okay, into there we're going to put a little bit of cream. Okay. So at that point, we're going to start plating up our dish. Dish plate like so. You can see that now. You just want to bring that up just as it comes to the boil. You're going to take some more butter. We're just going to drop that in like so. Basically what that's doing is it's actually enriching your sauce. You get a lovely glaze and shine off your sauce. And once the butter's in, you just want to shake it around like so. And it basically dissolves into your sauce, okay? Then onto your plate. Into the center of your plate, you want to put just 1 spoon of your vegetables. We're going to put 1 scallop sitting on top, like so. Then 1 scallop, just cut it in half, like so. Like that. Okay, so we've got some microgreens here, which are like a crest, but you can use like fine herbs, or if you're growing vegetables in your garden, or some lettuces in your garden, just as the shoots start coming out of the ground, you can pick them. And it's quite indulgent to do this, but the result is fantastic. A little bit of olive oil, and a little bit of salt on top. Now, when you're working with any sort of lettuce at all, you basically just want it to drop out of your hand, okay? So you don't want to, lettuce is quite a delicate vegetable, and if you start crushing it, or get aggressive with it, you're going to crush it and bruise it, okay? So that's basically really your dish there. You've got a lovely pan-seared scallop. Okay, so you just want to top that off with some of your sweet potato crisps on top. And what that's giving you is lovely textures. You've got the crispness of the sweet potatoes. The scallops are just going to melt in your mouth. You enjoy that one.